This is a video how to replace the squeegees and also squeegee maintenance as well. So the first thing to do is to remove the squeegee from the machine, and to do that you just have these two twist locks here. So we're just going to twist those so that they're straight, okay, and then the machine will just lift off like so. So we can just put the machine out of the way. The first thing to know is that a squeegee should have a very sharp edge on it for it to pick up properly. If this squeegee edge wears and becomes rounded, then you lose the pressure on the floor and it will stop drying as well. And each blade can be used twice because you've got one sharp edge on that side and one sharp edge on that side. So you can turn the blades around. That will prolong the life of each blade before you then have to buy a new one and replace it. We have 4 different squeegees available. The first thing to decide is whether to use Linetex or Primethane. The red squeegees are Linetex, and these are made from a 95% natural rubber. They're very tear resistant and very flexible. These are suitable for any dirt on any floor. The only time we don't recommend them is if you're using, if you're picking up oil or grease. So commercial kitchens or any oily or greasy environments. We would not recommend using this one because you'll notice this will go all wavy because the oil and the grease make it swell. So if you have greasy or oily environments, we would recommend to use the blue squeegees. These are made from polyurethane. This is our Primethane squeegee. It's designed specially for grease, oil, solvents, etc. So that's the first thing to decide, whether Linetex or Primethane. Then you would decide whether to have smooth floors or textured floors. So they look very much the same. There's only 1.2 millimeter difference in the height of the squeegee, but that makes a big difference to the performance. You will notice in the bottom corner here it tells you which one it is. So you've got drift, uneven floors, and you've got the squiggly line. If that was a straight line, and it would say smooth floors. The uneven floor squeegee is designed for floors which have quite deep texture, or like slate where it's a very uneven surface, or if you've got quite big grout lines or lots of grout lines, then this squeegee will give you the best drying results. Whereas the smooth floor squeegee, it may not dry as well on those types of floors. This one is designed specifically for very, very flat floors, like a marble floor, where it's very, very smooth and there's texture less than 1 millimeter deep. This will dry perfectly well on those type of floors, and it also gives you the least friction. So it's like the least drag when you're using the machine. So if we move on to how to actually change the squeegees, then if we put this onto a flat surface, we're going to twist these 2 wing nuts on the side like so, and then just push those through the outer housing, okay? And you can see the squeegee here. So to change the squeegees, you just need to gently pull the squeegee off the hooks, okay? And then, if you remember earlier, I said you can use each squeegee twice, so you would then flip it around and now use the other side of the blade if you wanted to. Or you would replace the blade. So if we put the uneven squeegee on here now, we're going to push this over that round hook there, and then hook the squeegee onto these plastic hooks like so, and make sure that they hook on properly. Can you see this one? It's not quite on, it's got a bit of a wave, so you can just push it on so it's hooked on properly. And push push that on. Okay, and you're just looking to make sure that it's straight all the way along the top and that they're pushed onto those hooks properly like so. And you would do the same on the front squeegee as well. This just pulls off and then hooks back on. So I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to put the uneven front squeegee on because you can see we have uneven in the corner there. You need a lot of hooks on a squeegee because you've constantly got drag trying to pull the squeegee out. So if you didn't have this many hooks, the squeegee would pull out and it would be all wavy and it wouldn't dry the floor properly. Another important thing to notice is you've got these flaps here. So these are called Aeroflex. Normally, if you're on a flat floor, it would be in this position, and that allows the air and the liquid to go through here. If the flap hits a grout line, it drops into the grout, closes the hole, which then increases airflow through the end to give you better drying results. Do not cut those off. We have had the odd time somebody, thinking that they've not been cut properly and cuts them off, but that would ruin the performance of the squeegee. They're not designed to be cut off. Okay, to fit this back into the housing, it's important to wet this. Very important, it has to be wet so that it slides in. If you try putting it on dry, it will affect the squeegee and it won't dry properly. So you can either spray it with a trigger spray or run it under the tap and then fit this. Okay, so we've wet the squeegee. Make sure it's wet along the top on both sides. And we're going to put that onto a flat surface, and then we're going to push the squeegee on. Make sure you line it up properly, and then just apply even pressure all the way along like so, and then snap it on. And to check that this has gone on properly, if you have a look from the back, you should see an even amount of red all the way along. If it's not been fitted properly, you'll see some of it bulge down further, or it won't be level. You can also check on the front, nice straight even red edge. So this is an example of a perfectly fitted squeegee. Over time, the wheels can wear. Now, if you're in a environment where you have smooth floors, these wheels will last a very, very long time, in excess of 2 years, 3 years even, in very smooth floor environments. Of course, it depends how much you use it and how much they're going to wear. But the diameter of these wheels, front and back, is very important. And this applies to every scrubber dryer on the market. For a squeegee to work properly, the squeegee should be at 45 degrees when it's going along. So if you imagine if this wheel had worn 2 millimeters, let's say, then this squeegee is going to be at more of an angle like this, and that may start to affect the drying performance. So you would need to change these wheels. Now, you can check the diameter of these wheels if you use a vernier caliper like so, and the back wheels should be 40 millimeters and the front wheels should be 22 millimeters. Obviously, there's very, very slight differences due to manufacturing tolerances, but if they wear in excess of 1 millimeter, then we would suggest potentially changing them. If you notice that the squeegee is not drying and the angle is very flat like this, that's an indication that you need new wheels. They are a consumable item. Another important maintenance fact is that you need to keep the wheels free from hair. So these wheels need to spin freely. They've got stainless steel bearings, so they shouldn't be affected by water, but it is possible that you get hair build up in these areas. So just using a sharp knife, like a Stanley blade, just cut away the hair. Make sure that the wheels are always spinning freely. That will extend the life. And then to replace the wheels is very simple. You just remove these upper screws and the wheel will slide out. So I've removed this screw here. Simply just pull the wheel out, and you buy the wheel as a kit like this. It comes with the plate, and then you would simply slide in the new one and apply the screw on top, and you're ready to go. Okay, so apart from that, it's very important to just keep the squeegee clean. So during use, wipe the blade to keep it clean. If you get some hair or some debris stuck underneath, it'll start to leave lines in the floor. Again, this applies to any scrubber dryer. Especially if you don't pre-sweep the floor before, then you may find that more debris will get stuck. So keep the squeegee nice and clean, and that'll ensure you have perfect drying results.